Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Vintage Cube draft. I will be taking a first pick Time Twister. A little bit sad to be passing Mana Vault, Bazaar, and Exploration, but I'm going to take the Piece of Power 9 when I see it. And a Mox! That synergizes quite well with Time Twister. Yeah, we'll be taking the Mox. Alright. 2 picks, 2 pieces of Power 9. That's good, right? I'm enjoying this already. Hope y'all are having a good day today. Don't know when this is coming out. I have no idea when people are going to see this because I've pre-recorded a whole bunch of these in advance, and just depending on my release schedule, how busy things get with house hunting and whatnot that I'm doing right now. That's going to be the determining factor on when and where you guys are going to see these. Okay, so there's a Past in Flames if I wanted to go Storm, and this would be a pretty decent Storm start. There's also a Bloodstained Mire as random fixing. There is a Basalt Monolith. Basalt Monolith is good with Time Twister. There's also a Spell Seeker. Spell Seeker is very good if we end up getting like a Time Walk, Ancestral Recall, things like that. It's also good in Storm because it can go and get you High Tide. And if we're going to be doing Storm things, we really need to be wheeling Storm cards. I think I'm going to take the Basalt Monolith, because there's a chance that we can just like play Mana Rocks into draw 7s and win that way, and that's fun. Brain Freeze. I will take a Brain Freeze here. Braids is great. Love Braids so much. My favorite decks that I've been playing in this cube have been like the Rakdos Attrition decks with Braids in them. So much fun for me. I'm going to take Brain Freeze because I'm not gonna purposefully pass like the only Storm card in the pack. Everflowing Chalice is great with the Time Twister plan. I'm going to take Miscalc. I do want to cut blue when blue shows up, and interactive blue magic is just like generally good if you're playing blue in any of the archetypes that you play blue in. So we will take the Miscalc. Plus, we can always just cycle it for 2. It makes this card very strong, just that it's like a Rune Snag or a Think Twice whenever you want it. The only thing is it doesn't count as a spell cast when you cycle it, so you just do have to be aware of that. I apologize if there's any background noise in this video. We had to turn the AC on. It has been like forecasted to be between 95 and 98 all week this week here, and it is just crazy hot, crazy humid, no fun to be outside whatsoever. And like I've been having terrible internet connectivity issues this week too. It's been awful. It seems to be resolved temporarily, at least, so hopefully we don't get anything that disrupts this league. I'm going to try turning down my mic just a tad, maybe to help with the automatic editing of this thing. Alright, let's see. In this pack, there is a Heartbeat of Spring. There's a Soccer Tribe Elder, Breeding Pool. Now, we could do blue-green stuff. Heartbeat of Spring would be good. We do kind of have a setup here for like minus Brain Freeze playing Upheaval. We could also take Urza's Saga. We do have a Mox. I don't think this is probably going to be an Urza's Saga deck unless I end up in some weird control deck. I think Breeding Pool is the pick, because this could let us splash like a Fast Bond or something. Heartbeat is great for Storm, but only if I've already got, fixing and stuff for it. I would rather have the Island Duels on the off chance that I do end up getting a fetch for them and getting High Tide. Now, I do like Dark Ritual in this pack. There is a Bolus's Citadel, which is an excellent Tinker target. We've not seen Tinker. But I think in the average Storm deck, Dark Ritual is going to be better. There is a crop rotation, so if we end up with something like Tolarian Academy and a bunch of Moxen, we can crop rotate for Tolarian Academy, but I'm going to take the Dark Ritual here. So there's a Tezzeret, a Channel, Savaitriome, Windswept Heath can fetch blue. I think I'm going to go with Tezzeret because I have Basalt Monolith. I really doubt Mana Vault comes around, but it would be good with Tezzeret. And Tezzeret can definitely go into the Upheaval deck. There's an Exploration. I will take Exploration. I did get the green fixing in the form of Breeding Pool. Bazaar of Baghdad is pretty good. It can be decent in Storm if you can fill the grave and you're like digging for a Yogg-Will or something like that. But I'm going to take Exploration. There's a Daze. I do not remember seeing a Daze. Oh, probably because this was like the Mox pack and I just completely skipped over. The cool thing about this is, if Daze is wheeling, blue is probably open because this is a very powerful blue spell. I really like Daze and Storm because it can just be an extra Storm count whenever you need it. Past in Flames wheeling is also a good sign. I'll take a Braids, I guess. Probably not playing Braids. I'll take Birds on the off chance we end up in Upheaval more than Storm. Heartbeat came around. I wasn't sure if I would get a wheel out of that pack or if it would be Heartbeat, so it's good to see. And last pick, Concealed Courtyard, which we probably will not be running under basically any circumstance. Let's see, we're probably at this moment not playing these cards. Tezzeret's like the closest to being played. Let's see what pack 2's got for us. Alright, there's a Regrowth, Thousand Year Storm, there's a Mystical Tutor. There is a Signet. Signet wouldn't be bad in this deck. I think I'm going to take the Mystical Tutor, though. This helps if I have Upheaval. This is great if I find High Tide, Time Spiral. So, yeah, we're base blue, so we're going to take Mystical Tutor here. Just gets whatever we need for 1 mana. There's Tinker. Unfortunately, we've passed Citadel. There's an Inkwell Leviathan in this pack, though, and we do have Basalt Monolith. I will be taking Tinker because it's very broken. It's a blue card. We have Fixing to, like, protect it. If we can wheel the Inkwell or if we can find a Blight Steel, this card is excellent. So we will take Tinker. There's a Mind Twist. We do have Dark Ritual, so that is something to take under consideration. There's also a Steam Vents, which would help us splash for Past in Flames while also being an Island Duel, and there's an Ignite Memories. Mind Twist probably is not going to come around, but I am going to take the Fixing. We're just going to need it. Let's see. So there's a Pyretic Ritual, there's a Cryptic Command, and a Faithless Looting, as well as a Ramanop Excavator. Cryptic is really tempting here. We can play like a Tinker control deck. We do have Mystical Tutor for Tinker. There's Kuldotha Forge Master, which is a backup Tinker. There's also Pyretic Ritual. I think I'm willing to take Cryptic over most of this stuff. I think having access to this effect is going to be pretty nice. If we end up in like a mono blue Storm just splashing stuff list, it can also be pretty good. Okay, so there's a Thoughtseize, there's an Underground Sea, and there's a Probe. Underground Sea gives us access to Dark Ritual, although we don't have currently any reason to play Dark Ritual unless we're doing the Storm stuff. A Probe we play in many more decks than just this. There's a Thoughtseize here. This is an Island Duel, though. We've not seen High Tide. I think for safety's sake, I'm actually going to take Probe. There's still the opportunity for a, Watery Grave as well. I will take Yogwill. We do have Past in Flames. Maybe I should take Cabal Ritual? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So something out of this pack should wheel. If Storm is open, Yogwill will wheel. That's a difficult thing to say. I'm going to take the Cabal Ritual after just passing the Underground Sea. Because if we're not getting... there's a Watery Grave, there's a Lion's Eye Diamond, and Talarian Academy. I need to be able to cast my spells. That's a problem. A Watery Grave, if I passed Underground Sea... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I gotta take the Watery Grave. Maybe, the others come around, but... Wishclaw Talisman might actually be better than Imperial Seal. Imperial Seal is a sorcery. Wishclaw Talisman we can, play and then Time Twister and then tutor for something. Imperial Seal means we need to be able to draw it immediately. We do have, Probe, Tutor. This card is really strong. I think I'm going to take the Imperial Seal. Okay, 1,000 Year Storm wheeled, so did Regrowth. I will take the 1,000 Year Storm. Okay, there's a Badlands. If we get any red fetch now, we can grab basically all of our colors. Otherwise, there's a Night's Whisper. This might be a Night's Whisper. Oh, we need Inkwell Leviathan. We took Tinker. Yeah, we took Tinker. We need Tinker targets. Ignite Memories came around. That's great, because that means Storm is open. Pyretic Ritual is playable in a deck like this. Was this the pack with Yogwill? I will take Krasis. There's Yogwill. Okay, we get Yogwill, and we do not get LED, unfortunately. So I'm probably playing Tezzeret, maybe playing Birds, but we need a good fetch land for us. Ideally one that grabs blue. Let's see. Blood Crypt. There's a Dismember, Consecrated Sphinx. There is a Gilded Lotus. Gilded Lotus is fixing. Kind of playing 4-color Storm right now. I think it's between Consecrated Sphinx and Blood Crypt. Maybe I should just take Blood Crypt because we don't have High Tide. Or Gilded Lotus. I'm going to take Blood Crypt. We have Dark Rituals and Cabal Rituals, so I think Blood Crypt is necessary. See, there's a Spell Pierce and Vampiric Tutor. Vampiric Tutor is very good, and so is Spell Pierce. There's also an Ashiok, which is just an alternate win condition. And a Sphinx of the Steel Wind as a tutor target. Or a tinker target. I don't think anyone's going to take Sphinx. I think Vampiric Tutor is the play. There's Ponder, Grim Monolith, Wheel of Fortune, Fast Bond. What do I take? Oh, man. Okay, oh, and a Misty Raid. Can I just take this pack and the draft be over? Okay, let's think about this. I have an Exploration that makes Fast Bond less good, but still good. We have no fetches and no way to buy them back. Misty Rainforest makes basically all of my mana problems go away. Wheel of Fortune is another draw 7, which we were kind of leaning into with Time Twister. It is our only draw 7 currently. Ponder is great, and it synergizes with Vampiric Tutor, Imperial Seal, and Mystical Tutor. We have a lot of tutors, so we may not need this Ponder. There's like no other blue fetch we're going to see, though. I'm going to take the Fast Bond. I'm going to regret it, but... Oh, there's Blightsteel. Okay, Blightsteel is a better Tinker target to just randomly have than an Inkwell. I will take a Blightsteel. Oath of Druids, Turnabout, Manamorphose. Okay, this is not really an Oath of Druids deck. Turnabout, we don't have... Our only mana doubler is Heartbeat of Spring. I think we're going to be a more ritual-focused Storm, and Manamorphose does smooth out our draws. Ideally, I think Tendrils comes around here, so I'm going to take the Manamorphose. Underworld Breach, there's a Lotus Petal or a Thrawn Dynamo. Underworld Breach is a really broken card, but we missed out on LED, Underworld Breach, Brain Freeze. I think I have to take the Lotus Petal, both for fixing and Storm Count. Okay, I guess I would be playing a Jund-colored land for fixing. There's a Workshop, a Silent Clearing, an High Tide! There's a High Tide. I will take a High Tide. I have, like, no land untaps, though. I'll take a Gilded Lotus. Oh, man. Our mana's gonna be so bad without a fetch! I'll take a Sphinx. Yeah, there's no fetches. I missed all the fetches. One fetch land in this deck would have been great. I knew Fast Bond was greed. And yet I still did it. We'll just get lucky. We'll just draw the right mana sources. No problem. Easy. So we're probably only playing Blightsteel for now. We may not need Basalt Monolith, but we only have Mox Ruby and Lotus Petal to tinker away then. Misty Rainforest! Oh, it's a sign. We get a Misty. And this can now fetch a Jund-colored land, too. That makes our mana so much better. Like, infinitely better. I'm really happy about that. I'm so happy that Misty wheeled. I was like, so, like, lamenting that. Huntmaster is technically in our colors. There is a Turnabout and a Tendrils. I probably should take Tendrils because the Storm Count needs to be a lot lower to win with Brain Freeze. But Turnabout would be our only land untap. We have Fast Bond. I'll take Tendrils. Probably going to regret that, but we'll see. We will see. Okay, Lava Claw Reaches is technically fixing. I don't know if we're playing it, but it is technically fixing. And Shriekmaw is technically removal. Okay, let's look at what we're dealing with here. Ah, yes, the old one-creature Storm deck. I could have played Oath. It probably wouldn't have been that bad, either. Okay, well, I don't know that I'm playing Krasis. Krasis actually has potential in this deck. We do have Yogwill. Let's see, Pyretic Ritual... Maybe I don't play the red lands, necessarily. Like, the only thing I really need red for is Thousand Year Storm, Past in Flames. I should have taken Turnabout because I had Ignite Memories, but I think I'm going to cut the Pyretic Ritual. We're going to run Manamorphose as a green spell, and then focus on being like Sultai Storm, and just splash red off of Manamorphose and red duels. I might need this Pyretic Ritual, I don't know. I can play Birds. I only have one draw 7, I kind of regret. I think I misprioritized a few things, so I ended up with a very interesting Storm deck. The cool thing is it's very tutor heavy. The problem is we have 1, 2, technically 3 cards that can cantrip and actually draw us what we tutor for. I'm wondering if with the like Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, we should be running Braids, because Braids early is just a way to beat your opponent. But let's see, I need to cut 1 card. If I'm cutting 1 card, I think it's going to be Exploration because I have Fast Bond, which is just better, and I have like 2 tutors that can go get it. I can run Mox Ruby as a land. Yeah, us not having any land untaps makes Heartbeat of Spring and High Tide way worse. But they are cheap spells that can go mana neutral in the right circumstances, so... Okay, we'll play Blood Crypt, Breeding Pool, Misty, Steam Vents, Watery Grave, and Zayator's Proving Ground. And then Mox Ruby. We need to cut 1 card for Lotus Petal. I should probably just cut the Tinker Plan because we didn't get Citadel. We have no Signets. And I mean, like, we could High Tide into Blightsteel, I guess, is a thing. Tezzeret is a tutor for artifacts, which can make life a little easier. We definitely need, like, at least another island. That's 15, 16 lands. I need to cut 1 card. It might be Heartbeat, simply because I'm not going to be able to untap my lands. Yeah, I think it's going to be Heartbeat. Okay, we technically have a deck. Whether it's good, whether it's not, I have no idea. Under some circumstances, we'll probably be like cutting Tinker and Blightsteel and bringing in like Pyretic Ritual Ignite Memories if we just need to like absolutely storm off. Maybe we should be playing Lava Claw Reaches instead of a Swamp. You know what? Let's do it. There we go. Okay. I'll see you guys in round 1. Alrighty, welcome to round 1. I mean, we could Imperial Seal for Time Twister. Or Fast Bond and then just dump our whole hand and not do anything with it. I think we can mulligan for something better. This is almost better. We would be putting back Blightsteel, but then this hand is just ramp. Okay, I think I'm going to keep this and I'm going to put back Cabal Ritual and Mountain. We need to draw black mana, though. So let's open ourselves up to Wasteland with a tapped Steam Vents and pass the turn. Okay, opponent starts on Library of Alexandria. Okay, so that could be good or bad news. Basically, whether or not my opponent is a slow deck, whether they're a control deck. I've seen Library of Alexandria played in like all kinds of crazy compositions, simply because like it's a land that draws you a card every turn, only under specific circumstances. So, okay, opponent plays an island and an unlicensed hearse. That's not good for me because I'm trying to like Yogg Willstorm. Play an island, pass the turn. Any land gets us to Cryptic Command, which is pretty big. Okay, opponent plays a Shelldock Isle. We can bounce Shelldock Isle and deny them whatever they put underneath it. But of course we need mana to do that, and we found some. So play an island, pass the turn. Okay, opponent draws a card with a library. They untap, they draw a card up to 9 cards. Okay, opponent ponders. I'm looking to counter and draw something, hopefully this turn. Okay, opponent plays an Arid Mesa, and they are passing turn. So they have to discard for turn. They discard Dam, so they are definitely a control deck of some kind. Alright, we draw a Mystical Tutor, we can pass. Opponent draws up to 8 cards, cracks Arid Mesa, gets an Indatha Triome, untaps, plays a Plains. I mean, if they just run out like a Teferi or something without any backup, or an Ashiok, hopefully they don't have a counterspell here, but I will attempt to counter and draw. Okay, opponent draws an extra card in response. They do have Force. Okay, this is really bad for us because they can just exile all of our win conditions with Ashiok. There's some notion that maybe I should concede to prevent information from getting out, but they hit Time Twister, Manamorphose, Thousand Year Storm, which is one of the things I was considering Mystical Tutoring for there. We draw Blightsteel, which is not good. Alright, pass the turn. I think we're just dying to an Ashiok. Okay, they exile my Cryptic Command. They draw an extra card. Yeah. I think I'm going to concede because I don't really have an out to this. And I just drew, like, my Tinker target, too. So, like, had I drawn a land last turn, I could have played Gilded Lotus, then Mystical Tutored for Tinker, and maybe Blightsteeled them. But the fact that we drew Blightsteel basically just completely inhibited that as a possibility. Do we change anything? It feels like we might have too many red sources in the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red sources, 6 red sources. Versus 1, 2, 3, 4 green sources. I think we're fine. Let's just keep a hand that does something. Hopefully our opponent does not have force. I would like to play first. This hand is just ramp. This hand has nothing in it. Why are my mulligans so bad? Asks player with 4-color deck. Oh man, they shouldn't be this bad. Okay, alright, I can see this working. There's a universe where this works. So we can put back Tendrils and Yogwill and lead on Zayatora's Proving Ground. Then we can land Mox Time Twister. Opponent mulligan to 6, so I mean, like, there's hope. They lead on Shelldock Isle. We really have to hope they do not have force. Okay, we draw an island. So play a Mox, play an island, Time Twister. Okay, alright. I mean, we drew Blightsteel, and we've got Daze, but... Okay, opponent plays an Indatha Triumph. I could actually just pass and discard Blightsteel to get it back in the deck. I think I'm going to do that, because then I can Mystical Tutor for Tinker with Miscalc Daze backup. Okay, opponent plays an island. They pass. Mystical Tutor. We will go and get Tinker. Untap. We draw Tinker. Play a Forest. And now I can Tinker with Daze backup. Do I do that? I'm way off this Cryptic command. I don't think my opponent has a 3-mana counterspell. I think they have either a Force or they have a, like, Mana Leak. So we're not casting anything. Opponent is going to click. I think I'm just going to hard cast Daze here. Because I can Manamorphose into blue-blue for Miscalc. And they won't see that coming. Okay, Manamorphose. Blue, blue. We draw Fast Bond, Miscalc. Okay, we untap. We draw a Swamp, which is thankfully not Blightsteel. We play a land to play around Spell Pierce. And we tinker for Blightsteel Colossus. Pass the turn. And we just have to avoid, like, a mind control effect. Or a bounce. No! They bounced my Blightsteel! That's illegal. They play an unlicensed hearse. We draw Imperial Seal. What can I Imperial Seal for? I'm not sure. But I'm not really doing anything else this turn. Do I have anything that actually helps me out of this? They're gonna eat, like, up to 4 of my cards out of the grave, so Past in Flames or Yogwill is not gonna do anything. Getting a land is kind of out of the question. So other than those effects, we have Rituals, Tutors, a Brain Freeze, Basalt Monolith. We just don't have anything. Oh, we've already used our draw 7. Oh my god, is this Storm deck just really bad? Like, we've not gotten our fetch land. I guess it's Yogwill? And we'll play Fast Bond. Maybe that'll scare them into doing something silly. They eat Tinker and Mystical Tutor. But opponent's been pretty diligent about using this unlicensed hearse when they should, and they can take 2 cards out of my grave, so why would not they take Time Twister Manamorphose out of my grave in response to a Yawgmoth's Will? I mean, if I cast it, it's not even like I can do anything. Oh my god. And if I don't cast it, we just lose everything. This is awful. Absolutely atrociously bad. They take Mox and Imperial Seal. Alright, yep, that's game. Alright, so both of our options... We don't have enough draw power to really make the Storm deck work. Let me look at editing this deck really quick. We have a bunch of tutors, but we have only one draw 7 and only, like... We can technically buy it back, but it's not great. I don't think we can actually edit this deck, though. I don't think we have anything else. So I'll see you guys in round 2. Hopefully we do better. Okay, we've got Brain Freeze, Yogwill, Basalt Monolith. I think we've got a mulligan. Okay, this hand does stuff. We've got a Miscalc. We've got a 1,000-Year Storm. We can put back a Mountain. The play might actually be to not play this Zayatora's Proving Ground, but... Yeah, I think we needed, like... I think we needed Turnabout and Wheel of Fortune instead of whatever else I picked. Fast Bond and Cabal Ritual, was it? Like... yeah, we'll keep 6 of these. We'll put back the mountain, and we will lead on the Proving Ground. Pass the turn. Opponent leads on Volcanic Island Ponder. Okay, we draw High Tide. Play a land. Pass the turn. We have Miscalc available now. Opponent plays a mountain to a Smuggler's Copter. That's probably fine. I think what we do is counter like the first creature that they play that can crew the copter. We draw Blood Crypt, which is not really the land that I want to see at the moment. Opponent plays a mountain. Mana Vault. Layla? Oh man. Okay. Well, I cannot counter Layla because they played Mana Vault instead of tapping for her like a reasonable human. They exile Splinter Twin. We're gonna take 3. So they have some kind of Splinter Twin combo in the deck. I actually think I'm gonna cycle this Miscalc. We draw a Swamp. Untap. Opponent says, wow! Yeah, no kidding, right? Okay, Breeding Pool is an island. I thought, let me just play out this vault just in case. Yeah, no, you played around the right card. That's the kind of plays that can get you the extra win percentage points. If you can afford to play around something that would utterly screw you otherwise, you know, it's probably worth doing. Opponent exiles a mountain. Plays a mountain. We untap. And we draw Tendrils. Okay. We're gonna be dead very soon. So I, like, play a Swamp, High Tide, and then play Thousand Year Storm. And just be really sad if my opponent has a counterspell. They Pestermite. Oh my god, really? I mean, that doesn't stop me from... I think they were better off trying to tap an island there. Bruh, I thought that was an island. Rip. Yeah, no. You would have been better off tapping an island. I think my opponent is still gonna win this, but I'm at least gonna cast a Thousand Year Storm. Alright. Possible. It is possible that this Tendrils gets me, like, just enough life to maybe survive an extra turn, but I gotta draw something great off the top. So we're getting hit for 8 here. Opponent can loot. They exile a Grim Lava Man. We take 8 and go to 5. Play Lava Man. We untap. We draw Blightsteel, which does nothing. So I can Brain Freeze them and cast Tendrils and gain 6 life and then die. Because this is 3, 5, 6, 11, and that's exactly what I would be at. Okay. Yep. You got me, opponent. Doing the big brain thing. Maybe I should be playing Krasis, because we need ways to draw cards, and this is it, I suppose. If that's the case... I think I cut Monolith? Yeah, I think I gotta cut Monolith. I mean, Monolith and Krasis are great together, but, like, I'll cut Cryptic. Cryptic seems like it might be hard to cast, but it is one of our only ways to interact. Gotta come back from this. I would like to play first. Opponent does have the Splinter Twin combo, and it is important to note that. We can Vampiric Tutor into a Time Twister? So we will keep this. This is going to be a very, very odd sequence, but I think it's the correct sequence. Opponent did mulligan to 6. So we start Steam Vents, Mox Ruby, just to scare him. And we're going to Manamorphose into, like, blue-black. Oh man, Mystical Tutor or Vampiric Tutor? Mystical Tutor saves us life, so I think we just do that. And we go for Tinker. Please don't have a way to mill me. Alright. Blightsteel Colossus, your go. Yeah, I was supposed to Vampiric Tutor for Tinker. Luckily I drew something that made me reconsider my actions. But getting Tinker over Time Twister was correct because we had the Mox. So, alright, we run it back. I mean, that's the power of having instant speed 1-mana tutors, right? You just go get the best card. This is just a fast Tinker again. And with Time Twister backup, really. So we will be keeping this. Opponent leads on a mountain, leads on a Dragon's Rage Channeler. I'm on Lotus Petal. Ah. Turn 1 Tinker. We'll lead on Island to play around Wasteland. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an Island and suspends a Riftwing Cloudskate. Hits us for 1. We draw Lava Claw Reaches, so... Shock Steam Vents, play Mox Ruby. Tinker for Blightsteel. Pass the turn. Now if they've got an unsummon, we're going to be real sad. Play Bloodthirsty Adversary. This lets them survive 1 hit. We draw Zayator's Proving Ground, so go to combat. Attack for 11 Infect. Opponent doesn't block. They just die? Alright, we got there, but not with the Storm Kill. I'll see you guys in round 3. Alright, welcome to round 3. I don't think this is a good hand. We're going to mulligan. Okay. Alright. We got a 1,000-Year Storm. Now we just need to find something to do with it. We're going to play Proving Ground, pass the turn. I know generally we play out our island duels first, or island lands first, because we have High Tide, but I do want to have access to black mana rather quickly. Opponent leads on Takanuma, and we're getting Duressed. There goes 1,000-Year Storm, which would be the reason why I kept that hand. We draw a Miscalc. Alright, play land, pass the turn. Duress is a good magic card. Don't let anyone tell you any different. Wasteland. Yeah, let's cycle a Miscalc. Get an island. We draw a swamp. Play an island. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a forest into a noble hierarch. We draw a vampiric tutor. So play a swamp, pass the turn. And I'm going to vamp for Time Spire, or Time Twister. Opponent is going to Eternal Witness Wasteland. They're going to Eternal Witness Duress. Okay. And they play a tap land. So let's Vampiric Tutor. We have no artifacts, so Tinker is bad here. And let's go for the Time Twister. So we untap. We draw a Time Twister. Shock Steam Vents. High Tide. Fortunately, we will not hit Threshold. Cabal Ritual. Then Time Twister. We cannot play Mox Ruby. I mean, we can't play anything off of Mox Ruby, really. Let's play Mox Ruby, and then I guess Brain Freeze our opponent. Mill him for 15. Pass the turn. So it looks like our opponent is some sort of Sultai or 4-color. There's a Wrath of God. Don't tell me they're Reanimator. They Hymn to Turok. We discard an island and a Past in Flames. They attack us for 3. Depending on what we draw, if we can get Fast Bond into play, there's a Vampiric Tutor. So play Watery Grave tapped, pass the turn. We can vamp for something. Opponent plays Crucible, and they're going to start trying to Crucible Strip Mine. Okay. Do we just Tinker for Blightsteel? I think we do. We can... Let's see, 1... We can't Past in Flames anymore. So we might just be on the Tinker plan here. We are casting Vampiric Tutor. We could Yogg-Will, like High Tide, Yogg-Will, High Tide, Time Twister, but that's not really a thing. We don't have enough lands. Yeah, I guess it's just Tinker. Don't be fooled. What you are seeing is not a Storm deck. It is a Tinker deck. Alright, Blightsteel Colossus. Go get him, Blightsteel. Please don't reanimate Archon of Cruelty. I'm begging you. Don't be cruel. Don't cruelty me, bro. Don't do it. Did we get you? Yeah, they're definitely like Reanimator, some shenanigans. Or maybe they've got like Fast Bond Crucible fetch lands. Okay. Opponent plays Liliana the Last Hope. Down ticks picking up something. Looks like Archon of Cruelty. They play a Thespian stage and pass. We draw Blood Crypt, go to combat, attack our opponent for 11 infect. Unfortunately, we have nothing to stop the... they're gonna clone Watery Grave. Okay, opponent goes to 9 infect. Can we kill them with High Tide, Past in Flames, Brain Freeze? This costs 5 to flashback. I think we're 1 mana off of doing that. If this was Yogwill, if we had Yogwill, I think we could, because we could play Mox Ruby, but this would be High Tide, that gives me 4 mana, it'd be 5 for Blood Crypt. We're 1 mana off of Brain Freezing them. Okay, if they can cheat out a Archon in some way, we lose. Dark Depths. They have Thespian Stage, Dark Depths. Because I attack, they clone Dark Depths, they get a Merit Lodge token. I should have played out the land. I was just worried they were going to strip mine. Alright, well we attack. And then our life total is too low because the 20/20 becomes an 11/11. Yeah, if I'd have played out the land, I actually would have killed them. I don't know if it was correct to do that. I guess, because they had Dark Depths, but opponent could have very easily just strip mined instead. Thespian Stage obviously, like, screams, hey, by the way, I have Dark Depths in my deck. But it was like a 50-50 shot whether it was in their deck or hand. Yeah, we take 11 on the swing back and die. Fair enough. If this had been Steam Vents and this had been Blood Crypt, we would have won. Because we could have just played Steam Vents and we would have had just enough mana with the High Tide. Okay, yeah, I'll do Krasis instead of Cryptic, I guess. We'll try it like this. I would like to play first. We have a Time Twister. You know what? I'm going to keep it. Play an island, pass the turn. Turn 3, we're going to play Watery Grave and Time Twister. Opponent plays a Takanuma. We draw Hydroid Krasis. Play an island. Opponent plays a Creeping Tar Pit. We draw Blightsteel. Well, it's a good thing we're casting Time Twister. Opponent can't have Daze, they don't have an island. Okay, we have green mana, Fast Bond, Dark Ritual, Vamp, with Daze backup. So if my opponent plays a 3-drop here, we can Daze it, and then just play out all our lands. Duress! That gets around my Daze! Duress is a good Magic card! I've just explained, like, no less than 9 times. Duress. Inquisition, no! You can't be Inquisitioning me! That's rude. Oh man, we're like so done here. Yep. Oh yes. Yes indeed. Let's play a Misty, pass the turn. We've already used our draw 7. Opponent plays a Noble, plays a Forest, plays a Golgari Signet. Sure. Do I fetch Proving Ground just so I have 1 less land to draw in my deck? I think I should. Okay, we draw Steam Vents. We can continue to play Islands. Crucible. Okay, opponent has Crucible, Windswept Heath. They animate Tar Pit. We're going to start going aggro. Okay, we untap, we draw a Miscalc. Play an island. Pass the turn. I'm probably going to end up cycling this Miscalc. They fire up Tar Pit. They attack us for 4. We go to 9. And they're not doing anything, so let's cycle Miscalc. Draw Lotus Petal. Okay, there's Yogwill. I think in that case what this means is play Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal for black. Dark Ritual. Then do we just use triple black on Yogwill here? I think so. Okay, so we Yogwill, triple black. Then we play Fast Bond, play Lotus Petal, play Misty, crack Misty, which is going to get exiled, get an island, play a mountain, take damage, shock a Steam Vents, take damage, Dark Ritual, and then Time Twister. Okay, then we can play a Mox. Cycle Miscalc. Draw Gilded Lotus. I was hoping for a Stormwind condition deck. It really was. Play Lava Claw Reaches. Take some damage. Oh, I'm just dead. I can tinker for Blightsteel. By going lower than 5 life, I have just killed myself because of Creeping Tar Pit. I don't think there's anything I can tinker for that's going to draw me cards. You never know, I guess. You never know when you're playing a tinker deck what you can tinker for, right? Basalt Monolith. It took too much damage. Oh my gosh, that was so abysmally bad. This deck was sweet, but it was really bad. Hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember, you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!